Wait, hold on. Do you guys smell that? I smell something burning. It's bacon. Ready for this?
If this is me and this is the car, it's pushing across like this. And with your arm bent like this, it's going to cause laceration.
Wait a minute. Didn't Trooper Paul argue that John O'Keefe's arm was out like this, and now it's down this way?
I'm trying to help you, but you got to give me more. So.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up, It's the Law with attorney Larry Forman. Folks, today we are going to continue and finish up Judson Welcher. Now that we've learned what kind of scumbag he is, the fact that he got paid almost $400,000 as vice president of Aperture, he is complicit, folks. He took a bribe, and he is going to say anything, whatever you need me to say, in the way that you need me to say it, because you paid me so much money. I'm the most expensive expert in the history of the United States, single-handedly earning the title of the dumbest company, because your employees, i.e. Shannon Burgess, lies about their resume. Who does that? And yet you are the best of the best because you're getting paid more than anybody else. It's a bribe. So without further ado, let's do Judson Welcher cross-examination by Alessi. This is the second and last Welcher video that you will see, and that is going to be the end of the government's case. Next, we are going to do a video on the motion to dismiss that Jackson is going to argue and Brennan is going to counter. We're going to do a video on that, and then of course we got to do my doppelganger. I mean, we can't just leave that one hanging. So, all right, folks. Judson Welcher, Commonwealth's last witness. Let's finish this up.
Now, as I understand your testimony, Dr. Welcher, you believe that it's possible that the Lexus taillight could have caused these wounds to Mr. O'Keefe's right arm. Is that correct?
Correct.
And more specifically, would have been caused by the vehicle scratching Mr. O'Keefe's arm as it drives past him. Is that correct?
I don't know, I'd characterize it that way. What happens is, this 6,000-pound vehicle is coming and he's standing on a, icy, snowy roadway area, and it's going to contact him and move his whole body and induce rotation.
Right. So it's going to contact him and, under your theory, induce rotation. So wouldn't such a movement of the car relative to his right arm result in horizontal injuries to Mr. O'Keefe's arm, as can be seen on his bicep above the elbow?
So could we pull up one of my slides to address this issue?
Sure,
I'd like to answer your question with a slide that I have that addresses this exact point.
I'd like to stay with this slide, Dr. Welcher, and see if you can answer my questions off of this slide. So I'll repeat it.
Sure.
Do you agree that the injuries up at the upper part, where you're familiar with the bicep brachialis?
I am.
And aren't those two up at the top, right over the bicep brachialis?
They're actually about midway between the biceps and the triceps.
Right. So you know which two I'm talking about, the two up there. Can you just use your laser pointer just so we're talking about the same two? Do you have one?
I'll give it a try, but the upper ones.
I know it's not your fault, but
On
sometimes
the image,
it doesn't.
the upper left.
Yes.
I mean, technically, the ones right to the right of that are also on the biceps and triceps.
Right, but
the
I'm talking
biceps goes all the way to the elbow, so do the triceps.
Right. So I'm talking about the two that are the farthest up.
Correct.
All right. Would you agree that those are in a horizontal orientation?
Generally, yes, which is what you'd expect with your arm like this and the tail light coming across like this, which is what I showed in my slides.
My questions are
He's getting
trying to
upset.
keep this moving. I just asked if those are in a horizontal orientation.
Yeah,
Yes
more
or
or
no?
less. They're angled down slightly, but more or less horizontal.
Okay. Isn't it true that if Mr. O'Keefe's arm were to be flexed like it was with the test subject in your blue paint test, the lacerations on Mr. O'Keefe's forearm would be oriented in a vertical direction?
Absolutely not. If you pull up my slide 117, it'll show exactly that it is like perfectly horizontal. When you're standing like this, and this is the tail light, the laceration, when it comes across here and pushes my body, it's going to make a horizontal laceration because the 6,000-pound vehicle is going to push me out of the way. As this pushes me out of the way, it's going to drag and create a horizontal laceration across my arm.
Wait a minute. Didn't Trooper Paul argue that John O'Keefe's arm was out like this? And he has already referenced in the previous video that he's familiar with Trooper Paul's work, unfortunately, for him. Although, I don't know. They're all in cahoots with one another, so you're taking bribes to say whatever the government wants you to say, so I guess it's not surprising. And Trooper Paul did not testify in this case, so there's no contradiction, unfortunately. But the jury in the first trial heard it, and if you have not seen those videos, oh my god, there's 4 of them. Go check them out, trust me. And don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Paul said that John O'Keefe's arm was out this way, and now it's down this way? And they both argue rotation, which is kind of fascinating because I swear that the lengths that these people have to go to like try and fabricate this impact is just staggering,
This is exactly what you'd expect.
So let's talk about the forearm, sir. We may have miscommunicated. I'm talking about the lacerations on Mr. O'Keefe's forearm now.
So we're switching from the arm to the forearm.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Wouldn't those be oriented in a vertical direction?
No. Again, you have the vehicle, if this is me and this is the car, it's pushing and pushing across like this. And with your arm bent like this, it's going to cause laceration as it pushes my arm away. It pushes like that.
Okay, I got it.
My slide shows this quite clearly.
Okay,
So-
well, if that's the case, then where's the biological material? As these abrasions occur, they're going to leave a mark on the object that has caused them, right? No, did the rain wash it all away? Wow, just wow.
So you disagree.
I wish I could see the jury's face
You
right
do
now.
not agree that the injuries to Mr. O'Keefe's forearm, under your theory, would be oriented in a vertical. You disagree with that. It's just want to get that on the record.
I disagree with that.
Okay. Now, also, do you understand that under your theory of injury here, that there would be injuries caused in 2 different directions by the same movement of the car? Agree or disagree?
I'm going to say I disagree. You need to give me a little more. You're going to have, again, this is a glancing or a clipping type impact, and so it's going to be it's going to sweep across the arm, which is what causes the horizontal laceration.
We're talking about a flat surface, right, sir?
Approximately, yes.
And therefore, you would have to maintain contact with the arm as the car moves. Am I correct about that?
Maintain contact with the arm? I'm unclear what you mean.
Come on, that's an easy one.
What I'm trying to do, sir, is to get under your theory, right, given the contact that you've described.
Oh, I love how he says, under your theory. Not what makes common sense, but your conjecture, your theoretical, your theory. He's distancing Judson Welcher's opinion from this case, and I think the jury's following along quite nicely. I am.
What would you expect to be
Let me know in the comments below if you get it.
orientation of the
same way.
wounds to the upper part of the arm and to the lower part of the arm?
Just like it's shown in this photograph.
Okay. Isn't it the case with your theory that the tail light would have to break, and after the break, the arm would have to maintain contact with the arm as the car moves?
So that is what happens in pedestrian contacts. There is a contact duration. For example, you asked me earlier in that calculation you had me ran, you said 0.01 seconds. That was the contact duration. So when you have things like this, and that's why you have to allow, if you do testing, the body to move, because the car is going to hit the body, it's going to cause it to move, the body's going to rotate away, and the car is going to continue on in that clipping type impact. So the arm is definitely in contact with the rear of the car for some time.
That's what I wanted to get to, is simply that under your theory, the tail light would break, and also the arm would need to maintain contact with the tail light area as the car moves. Is that your supposition?
So at a point in time, it'll stop contact. But the 6,000-pound vehicle is going to want to continue moving on. It's going to push. It's going to initially contact the arm and then push the arm away as it rotates the body. So yes, it's going to maintain contact until the clipping is over and the vehicle continues on.
So my next question is simply, how long do you believe the arm needs to maintain contact with the taillight after, under your theory, it breaks to produce those types of wounds that you say came from a taillight?
We don't have enough information to determine that.
Right.
Ah.
You don't have enough information to make that determination, do you, sir?
Correct.
And-
But we know because of the laws of physics that it has to be some amount of time. It doesn't occur instantaneously.
So now we do apply the laws of physics to the right arm that weren't applied before because you applied a paint experiment. Is that correct? You're now applying the laws of physics to the injury to the right arm. But you
No.
didn't do that in your report.
Nope, always applied the laws of physics. The paint experiment, as you're referring to it, was to look at basically the orientation of the scratches that matched this. So that was an engineering experiment to correlate height, position of the taillight relative to height, orientation of the lacerations on Mr. O'Keefe's arm.
You just said, sir, if I heard you correctly, you, to answer my previous question, applied the laws of physics. That's what you just said, correct?
So the laws of physics cover more than Newton's second law.
Oh, God.
There's a whole law of physics. The whole field of physics is a broad subject. So a simple measurement of height is a physical measurement.
Sir, I have your entire report.
He's just
in my
talking in
hand,
circles.
Right here. Where in the report do you apply the law of physics to the right arm of Mr. O'Keefe? Where?
So in the paint experiment we did, the laws of physics about gravity, orientation, things like that, I didn't apply Newton's second law as we already went through. But again, those simple positions, arm angles.
Wait, is he picking and choosing which laws of physics he's going to apply to this case as he's doing these experiments? Is this guy a joke? Oh, yeah, he is. He's a liar for hire. I forgot. Thank you.
The possible physical arm angles, those are all generally governed by the laws of physics. The laws of physics are very broad.
Sir,
Oh, my God.
I'll ask it this way. Where in your 14-page report do you even mention the laws of physics related to the right arm of Mr. O'Keefe?
Don't tell me he
So,
doesn't.
in terms of applying the laws of physics,
I'm not asking applying, just where in the report is it mentioned law of physics relative to the right arm? Can you point me
I
to
don't know
where?
if I would write a report that said these are the laws of physics. I would say these are the numbers. But for example, the timing in GPS, how a clock times, the concept of a second, what does that mean? Those are all concepts of physics. So the timing, the GPS, the mileage, how we calculate the mileage, those are all based on the laws of physics.
I'm talking about injuries to the right arm.
That's not what you asked. You asked me about my whole
No.
report.
Sir, if you could, please, I just need to finish my question. Where in your report do you use any laws of physics in connection with injuries to the right arm of Mr. O'Keefe? Can you point me to a word or a page in your report?
Yes.
Where?
2A. 2A Roman numeral 1. 2A Roman numeral 2. 2A Roman numeral 3. 2A Roman numeral number 4. 2A Roman numeral number 5.
Sir, I followed all of it, but what I'm asking about is where in all of what you just mentioned is the word right arm? I'll take what you just said. Where in 2A and all of those is the word right arm? Where is it?
Oh, sorry, it's in number 3.
So let's go to 3. You state the location and
Wait, hold on. Do you guys smell that? I smell something burning. It's bacon. Ready for this?
orientation of the laceration on John O'Keefe's right forearm and right arm are consistent with the geometry and orientation of the right tail light of the Reed 2000 21 Lexus LX 570.
Hold
Where,
on. Can you read the next sentence?
I'm sorry, is it see PowerPoint slides 102, 120, correct?
Correct.
All right. I want to just start with the report. Did you apply any force analysis to support 3?
So in terms of the force analysis, I did not do an F equal MA analysis, but in terms of, say, the contact pattern, I obviously had to apply some force, even at 2 miles an hour, to do that.
So the answer is, what you cited, number 3, you did not use a force analysis, correct?
So force was applied to my arm in the paint test. I didn't do an F equals MA force analysis.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So now let's go to the,
And by the way, the reason he didn't do a F equals ma, force equals mass times acceleration analysis, because that would make his whole experiment look like gibberish, because it makes no sense. The Lexus SUV hitting John in that angle, causing those kinds of injuries, is not possible from a physics standpoint. That's why he had to kind of skip that and talk about other stuff related to it. It's brilliant what Alessi's doing. Absolutely brilliant.
horizontal movement we were talking about with regard to the car. And you can agree or disagree.
I'm such a proud mama.
I'm sorry, we'll take that down. Do you agree or disagree that given a horizontal movement of the car, vertical lacerations would be an inconsistent injury pattern?
So horizontal motion generally will cause a horizontal laceration. You can get what are called stellate, which are a blunt force, and it causes a splitting of the skin as well. But generally, when the vehicle is clipping or running horizontal across it, it will generally cause horizontal lacerations. But when you have a fractured taillight, you can get pieces going off in other directions. So it's not necessarily going to be perfectly horizontal.
So my question is,
My brain
not
is
with
about to
clipping,
explode.
you keep inserting clipping into my question. My question is this. If you're given a horizontal movement of the car, do you agree that it's more likely than not that vertical lacerations would be an inconsistent injury pattern?
I'm trying to help you, but you got to give me more. So, like, is it a clipping contact or is it not a clipping contact? Is it a direct in the center of the car impact?
Okay, are there only 2 variables you need
No,
to answer the question?
But this is a good start.
All right, so let me do it this way. You can't answer the question on a general basis of whether there's horizontal movement of a car, whether vertical lacerations would be an inconsistent injury pattern. You can't answer that question without more information. Is that your answer?
So generally, again, horizontal motion should cause horizontal lacerations, but again, it depends on what's being hit.
Okay.
So for example, if I have something that bends as a result of the impact, it could bend up and create a vertical laceration.
So you would agree, based upon what you said, that generally horizontal movement of a car would be expected to cause horizontal lacerations. Is that-
Generally,
Okay.
yes.
Now, during your blue paint test, the blue paint was featured more predominantly on your upper arm than your forearm. Is that correct?
I think it depends on the tests.
Do you want, we bring up a slide? Will that
I'd
help
love to
you?
bring up a slide.
We're going to be running the thing, so we'll just bring one up and you tell me whether this slide works for you, sir.
Do you want me to tell you the slide I want?
If we could take a shot at it first, and then we may ask you for it. But I think we've got a slide for you. And what number? 111 is on the screen, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is the blue paint more predominantly on your upper arm than your forearm? Is there more blue paint on your upper arm than your forearm?
Probably. This is the one where I actually walked sideways into the back of the car. The one where the car's moving is probably a little better representation.
Sir, I'm just asking you a question about this slide.
Just
Now,
like every other witness, he just can't answer a question directly. He always has to volunteer his own information. That is the hallmark of a liar.
Focus on this slide here, and if you can't answer it, so be it.
I just answered it.
Is the blue paint featured more.
And he doesn't even realize how foolish he looks, how stupid he looks. He thinks that he's like the smartest person in the room. I just answered that. You asked me a question. I just answered it. What do you want from me? Stop it. Leave me alone. Like, that's literally how he's coming off without realizing it. It's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Stunning. I love this testimony.
Predominantly on your upper arm than your forearm.
Alessi's, I mean.
Sort of
not
looks
his.
like it. I didn't actually measure the total area of it.
Alrighty. So on direct, you stated that in order for the injuries on Mr. O'Keefe's forearm to have been caused by an impact with a taillight, his arm would have needed to be held outstretched as you did in your demonstration, correct?
You would need some degree of outstretch, yes.
Yes. So isn't that an example of confirmation bias?
No, that's matching the contact pattern to the injuries.
Is it though?
But don't you have to select among other choices this outstretching of the arm? Don't you have to make that selection from among others, correct?
So that was matching the physical evidence on his arm to the physical evidence on the car, and then running a test to see if dynamically those matched up. So it's, I didn't have it hit the exhaust pipe, for example, because there was no assertion it hit the exhaust pipe. There was no damage to the exhaust pipe.
Did you consider, as part of the scientific method, in terms of more than one hypothesis, did you consider in your analysis any other orientation of Mr. O'Keefe other than the one you selected for your paint test?
Yes.
And where is that consideration of other hypotheses stated in any report?
It's not. I was just looking at the damage that was up on the sheet metal.
Okay.
Ah.
So
you considered them, but you never recorded them, which means you didn't do them, basically.
you're saying that you considered other
Just saying.
orientations of Mr. O'Keefe relative to the vehicle as part of your analysis?
In terms of where exactly the hand would be, some slight different angles in the forearm, which is from the elbow to the hand. I did consider that, but all the physical testing is done with the hand hitting the approximate center of the taillight.
Do you have any notes that you took for these alternative orientations?
No, I think I just included photographs of
Just
that damage.
in my head.
Have any proof at all that you considered those other orientations? Anything in writing?
No, I don't believe so.
Wow.
Did you
Wow.
consider any other locations of Mr. O'Keefe under your theory relative to
This is not incompetence, folks. This is criminal.
the back of the SUV?
Sure. In the beginning of this, I started about, hey, it's all over. It could be anywhere on the back of it. Then whittled it down based upon the evidence, started eliminating various hypotheses based upon the evidence, and came to this conclusion, eliminating hypotheses based upon the taillight fragments near his body, the lacerations, his height, the height of the taillight on a Lexus. So it was an iterative process.
Did you mention any of these supposed hypotheses in your direct testimony?
No, because I was able to reject them. I didn't come in here to tell these people what didn't happen. I came in here to tell them what I believe happened.
Would you agree, sir, that the scientific method earlier
Requires.
the scientists identify various hypotheses,
Yes. Yes.
go with the data?
Doctors do this all the time. It's called a differential diagnosis. Scientists do it all the time. It's a form of differential diagnosis. Let's eliminate all the possible, this is like basic stuff. This is science 101. And he's like, I kind of sort of did it in my head and I rejected all the other ones. I just said, this is how it happened. Anyway, moving on. He looks so embarrassed right now. You can tell.
But you show your math as to why you're rejecting hypotheses. As you said you rejected them, I'm asking for proof that you considered other hypotheses. Do you have anything in writing, any notes at all, any videos, any tests that you did, documentation of other hypotheses other than picking this one?
He has
Do you have any
nothing.
documentation of that?
He has nothing.
So I did a bunch of tests with the Lexus. I did backing tests. I looked at how the rear system worked.
where are
to see
they?
if it would autonomously brake. I confirmed it did not. So I eliminated that as a hypothesis.
But where are they?
I tested the steering. I tested the transmission, what 1, 2 represented. So I did a whole bunch of tests on the vehicle.
I understand you say
That was not his
you did
question.
tests on the vehicle. My question is, did you ever take the vehicle and position yourself or anybody else in various locations to determine whether or not your hypotheses could be properly rejected?
Yes.
Do you have any documentation that you did that?
I mean, I did do 1 static and 2 dynamic tests in very similar positions, though. So I did a total of 3 tests relative to the arm.
Where is the documentation for that, sir?
It's in the file. I gave it to you. Some of the slides are some of it.
All right, so Mr. Alessi, I think if we're going to,
I am, and I'm going to move on, Your Honor.
So
okay, but Mr. Alessi, hold on, we're going to do that for you.
Can I ask, I just have one other area, Your Honor. I can do it in short order if I could,
Okay.
please.
I wasn't finished with my
Go ahead, finish your answer. I'm
So
sorry.
slides 109, 110, 111, actually through, I guess, 121 deal with the testing of the hypothesis.
We'll come back to this at another time, Dr. Welcher. So what I want to do is to finish up on this point. So is it your testimony that no part of what you did in selecting this area, no part of it is confirmation bias? You say there's no confirmation bias at all in what you did. Is that your testimony?
That's certainly my goal. I try and eliminate all confirmational bias. I didn't start out at this particular location. This is where the physical evidence led me to.
What?
So I would say the conclusions are supported by the science.
No, your conclusions are supported by the money that Morrissey paid you. Let's be honest here.
Did you engage in any confirmation, and this will be my last question, did
The
you
answer is no.
engage in any confirmation bias in terms of how you approach the issue that you have testified about in written reports?
Absolutely.
The answer is still no.
Absolutely, yes. That is 100% yes. He was paid to say exactly that because it makes no sense. It is ridiculous. It is stupid. It is incongruent with reality, and he knows it. But he got paid, and he has to maintain. Oh, God. That's it for the Commonwealth's case, folks. After Welcher testified, the Commonwealth rested. Next, later today, we are going to do the motion to dismiss that Jackson argued with Brennan's response. And then tomorrow, Monday, June 2nd, 2025, we are going to do my doppelganger. So be on the lookout for that. I'll see you all in the next video. Don't forget to like it, comment below, subscribe. You know the rest. Bye, everybody.